our people knew who betrayed us. They knew where it all started from, who was the first ones to say yes, and it was the Utes. So all the medicine men gathered up on one of our high mesas that can see Ute land. So we gathered up there, and we all said, the circle is broken. This is unacceptable. Not only we're going to come back at you with our knives, with our bows and arrows, or spears and rifles, we're going to come at you with magic too. So they all did a huge curse on Ute land. They opened up a portal. Everything, bad, they opened that up on that mesa, on their homeland, so they could never be where they originated from again.
Welcome. I'm here with Don Yazzie. Don, welcome back.
Hello. Yes, glad to be back.
Okay, last episode we talked about skinwalkers and Navajo Nation, but there's one question that I neglected to ask you, so I'm going to ask you now really quickly. Skinwalker Ranch, what's the deal with that, like, in Navajo culture? Is there anything to it? Is it just a media circus where they're just trying to monetize, or is there something real at that place?
It is very real. It's very real indeed. Just like how you and I are speaking, everything was, that whole situation was brought upon them because of what they've done in the past to our tribe. I'm talking about the Ute tribe. Because, it goes all the way back before America took over this whole area. This was claimed by Mexico. And we were at constant war with Mexico. And before that, we were at constant battle with the Spaniards. So, we're at constant struggle. And the Utes, we became close friends. We became best friends at one point. We became so close that we had a hogan and a teepee side by side. We both hunt together. We both fished together and fought with each other, against our enemies. And when America came here, they took all this area from Mexico. Mexico told America, they said that if you want to settle this whole area, if you want to make a country out of this area, you're going to have to take out all the Navajos. You're going to have to off them all. And while you're at that, you're going to have to focus on all the Apache tribes. And they said, why? They said, why? Because these guys are against progress. These guys are naturalists. They love nature. They love the rocks, the trees, the birds, all that. And they don't want nothing made out of this. So they said that you're going to have to take them out. And the way you're going to have to do it is go and make friends with the Ute tribe. The Ute tribe, they love materials. They're very materialistic people. They like silver, they like guns, they like clothing, blankets. So that's what America did. They went over there, gave them the finest rifles, the pistols, buckles, all these material things. And the Utes jumped at that opportunity to betray us. And they started raiding us across Navajo Nation on the north side. America attacked through the east side. And they gathered all our enemy tribes all around us, attacked us from every angle. And when that happened, we came to, the surprise attack, and our people knew who betrayed us. They knew where it all started from, who was the first ones to say yes, and it was the Utes. So all the medicine men gathered up on one of our high mesas that can see Ute land. So we gathered up there, and we all said, the circle is broken. This is unacceptable. Not only we're going to come back at you with our knives, with our bows and arrows, or spears and rifles, we're going to come at you with magic too. So they all did a huge curse on Ute land. They opened up a portal. Everything, bad, they opened that up on that mesa, on their homeland, so they can never be where they originated from again. They can't be on their mesa ever.
To advertise on Through Glass Darkly, email throughglassdarkly@gmail.com.
And so just things just come from all sorts of parallel realities, dimensions, or whatever, come through that
Yeah.
portal.
Yeah, like to this day, people they see skinwalkers there. That's because a lot of us still go over there to make sure that curse is still well and alive until there's no more Utes.
I actually spent the night on that right next to that mesa, not on Skinwalker Ranch, but there's a property that is to the north of it. So during the day, it was really, there's lots of positive energy, like unnaturally positive. And then at night, it felt unnaturally negative. I don't know if that means anything, but that was just what
Yeah,
I felt.
that's real. That's how it feels. You're enjoying the sunset and you're making sure you have enough ammo for the night.
And the only thing that happened to me, there was nothing that I can think of that happened to me except I was sleeping kind of like right here in the fire, and the fire was kind of right here, and there was a chair, kind of across from me, across the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the wind, we'll just call it the wind, blew the chair into the fire at me when I was sleeping. So maybe it's just coincidence. I don't know.
Mm.
But
You
but
gotta
it
have
was weird.
a camera on you next time.
No, I did. It was a full moon, but I didn't have it. It wouldn't have. It was really windy. We wouldn't have enough batteries. There
Oh.
would been sand on it and all that stuff. But it was weird. And I had a thought right before that gust of wind came because I was kind of just laying there. And the thought was just the shadow people are real. But again, it's just, it's just thoughts. It's just thoughts. I don't know what that means, but sometimes the wind is just the wind, right?
Yeah, that's where it all goes back to. Like, you believe in it, it'll come to life. You feed it, it'll come. Build it, that whole saying.
Okay. So I wanted to clear that one up first. Abductions and like visitations by non-human intelligences, let's call it. Some people call them UFOs, UAPs, ETs, aliens, the others. There's a kind of a rich and dark tradition of this on Navajo land. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our stories with them goes far back as well. Our people, we call them the holy people, and the word is Dine, so the holy people. So they're one of their
Dian Dene?
jobs.
Is that like the Tuatha Danann, which is the Celtic equivalent?
Is that like the same thing, holy people, or what?
I would need to look it up. It's the Tuatha
Oh,
Danann, but it sounds similar. It sounds like
yeah.
the Danann part, Danann.
Oh, yeah. That's how we say like.
Look, I'm just grasping at straws
You're
here,
good.
but it
You're
it
good.
seems similar.
Wait, we're all connected one way or the other because like our old stories say that we came from the European ice bridge at one point in history,
Mhm.
and we have relatives in Siberia. They're called the Ket people. We have similar language with them out there in Ural Mountains. But yeah, we call them Dien Dene, the holy people. And one of their jobs that our elders tell us is that when we see them, we're supposed to wave and, say a prayer. And we're supposed to tell them that we're still here. We're okay. We're alive. They said they're coming down to check and watch on us. They're making sure that, there's Navajos here on this earth. Because if there's no Navajos here, they'll destroy the whole earth with fire. Yeah, so they're checking on us, making sure we're here because they chose us to take care of Mother Earth, to be the caretakers of the world, this Earth. And so that's one of the stories that, has them with us. And another story goes back to that I can share is that we had a huge disagreement at one time, like within our tribe. Like it was so bad that the women and the men they had a disagreement on a certain ceremony, And it was a huge drama that the men were on the other side of the Colorado River. They didn't want to be near the women. So, over the time passed, and the holy people, they're observing this, they're watching this, and they all came down. Some went to the female, some went to the male's camp, and they started intermingling, and they came giants. They came about giants from that intermingling with them. And, these guys started corrupt, chaos. All across the Southwest, we have pictographs of the 6-digit beings and the 5-toed beings everywhere.
Yeah, there's the Lovelock Cave remains that they found, right?
Yeah.
In Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the
Yeah.
tall redheaded giant, six-fingered.
Yeah. We have that scattered all over the place here. There's giants all over the place here. You have to find them. Most cases, we don't tell anyone. Because, we're supposed to leave them alone. If you bother them, it's going to be start of bad juju. And, these guys were real at one point. Just the same descriptions as the Bible's, the double row of teeth. Just like the men of Moab. Our tribe, they married into our tribe. And we have a clan, the Giant People clan, within our society, our clan system. And my wife, she's also a carrier of that giant clan.
Do they have like incidences of red hair or anything like that? Anything weird like that?
We all have red hair. Our tribe, a lot of us Navajo, we have red hair and blonde hair within us. And I myself, I have red hair and blonde hair here and there. So, like, my clan, we're a yucca fruit clan. Yucca fruit strung out in a line. We weren't original Navajo. We joined the Navajo clan. And then they said that our people were lighter skin. We had red hair and blonde hair.
Like how far back?
Oh man, this goes way back like 1,000 years. So there's like stories of the, people that came from the reeds. We have a lot of stories of survivors that came from the ocean on reeds, that they were different looking, and they started intermingling all the way from South America, and we call them the blue-eyed people, the moon-eyed people, because they could see a little bit
that's the
better at
Welsh.
night.
The Welsh. There was a Welsh king that was rumored to have come to the Americas long before. I forget what his name was, but that's part of the. I think that's where or a possible explanation of where the moon-eyed people came from.
Yeah, and they actually came and dwelt and joined us and stayed with us. That moon-eyed person. So, like stories go way back that far. So a lot of us Navajo people look a little bit different from our neighbors here. Just a little bit different. And it even goes back to the Spanish diaries. They actually said the same thing too, that we're more fair skinned, taller than our neighbors, not as dark, lighter hair, more broader shoulders. So, we were culturally distinct from everyone else.
Okay, so more about these, I guess, gods, that kind of these non-human intelligences. Are they often seen, and what do they look like?
Oh man, yeah, they're seen all the time. So there's stories of them being around houses. They like the lights outside, the solar lights, the LED lights for your pathway, because we use those LED lights to show us the way to the outhouse, the porta john, because a lot of us don't have running water or electricity on the reservation. So we have those LED lights that go around the house, so we can see a little bit. And these guys will come down. There'll be 3 of them with their own little flashlight, their own little tiny flashlight. They're looking at this little light and they're both picking at it. They're really intrigued with these lights, and they have this dog, will come out and bark at them, and they'll shine some kind of light at that dog, and that dog will get like some kind of will look like a Clorox, like someone poured Clorox on his fur, and that dog would get sick and die like days later. And then like the people that the ship landed in their yard, that whole family would get sick, and people would come in with radiation. They'll see a lot of radiation that was given off there. And we play hide and go seek a lot as kids. A lot of us, there'll be 10, 20 of us, and we'd be playing late at night all into the morning. And this one time, so we would always be in threes. Like I was saying, we'd be hiding in threes, and then whoever is the seeker has the only flashlight. So the rule is whoever's hiding has no flashlight. And we're on this big mesa. So this mesa is like a mile long by half a mile. So it's pretty big. Could be double the size. So that whole mesa is the place where we hide. We can't crawl off. So we have to roam around and run. And, my uncle, one of my other uncles, he got the bright idea to crawl off the mesa because he didn't want to be found. He crawled off the mesa. He wandered off 50 yards away from the mesa, hiding behind a bush. And this was full moon. And as he's hiding behind the bush, he's hearing us running back and forth, laughing, hiding, and seeing the flashlight running after us. And as he's observing all that, he felt a rock hit him. Boom. He's like, what in the world? He's looking back. Second rock hits him. He's like, okay, something's going on. Third one hits him. He turns around really quick. He flips his body and he sees the big old ET behind the bush. His huge old head and eyes. He's like this behind the bush looking at him. And my uncle just starts screaming. He runs back up the mesa. We all have to
So
stop
like a
playing.
gray? Like a gray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, throwing rocks, just watching us too, like hide and go seek. So maybe his craft was invisible, possibly. Yeah, so
What
just
year was that?
oh my gosh,
Roughly.
2001, maybe 1999, somewhere around
Okay.
that time frame. Yeah, I was young. Like 12 years old, 11 years old, somewhere around there. Yeah, we used to like to go spotlighting late at night, and we would see skinwalkers, Bigfoot, ghosts. Actually, got chased by Bigfoot a few times. That was really fun. So, like all the times you would see these ships, across the sky. Some of them be parked on top of a butte, and they'll be sending like a light, like a laser light, and it'll be scanning the whole valley floor. And other times the ship would be flying a giant ship. This is a huge ship, be going right next to a mesa, and it's sending like a red laser grid pattern on the mesa, and it's scanning the faces of the mesa every night. These things are flying. Okay, so the last time I was there, just recently, these things are flying around the mesa all night. There's two of them. They fly like a pattern, and they stop, and they disappear, and they come again, a pattern. And then another two comes. They fly like a plus pattern, and it looks like they're taking pictures of each other. I don't know how to explain it to you. So there's one's on top, one's right here, one's right here, one's right here, and they're flashing like they're taking pictures of each other in the sky. And it's all night. You're like, why are they doing that? I have my Canon camera, I have my thermal imaging camera, I have my IR camera. I can't seem to capture any of them on my cameras. It's strange. And
But
the
they just don't
same.
show up when you try to when you hmm.
No, this is every night. Every night in the area, that portion of the Navajo Nation. In that same area, another night, so we parked on this hill, and it was around 10 o'clock at night, and my cousin, he's like, you're going to see the mothership. You're going to see this show real soon. Just stay put. Just keep your eye on this part of the sky. And then this part of the sky is close to the Four Corners area. And
There's a
sure
lot of
enough,
disappearances. A lot of
yeah,
disappearances there, right? Yeah.
that's where I'm from. Yeah, a lot of strange things happen. So sure enough, this gigantic ship. I can't tell you the size. This thing is far up in the sky too. This thing's huge, and it opens up in the middle, and thousands of UFOs come pouring out of that ship, and they come closer to the Earth, and they all stop, and they all make a gigantic circle. and they all get brighter and they all fall to the earth like in a strange pattern, like in a strange way. Almost look like a flare. You know how like a flare is falling down, but these things are falling like with
Spiral.
purpose. Spiral, yep, with a purpose coming to earth, and they disappear before they hit the earth. And then you see them again. They appear up there in the sky, and they're making a square, and then they start chasing each other. There's always two of them. They start chasing each other and they touch, and then they start chasing like they're playing tag. Thousands of them, hundreds of them in the sky, every angle flying around like they're all playing tag. And then they all get together again and they all fly back up into this mother gigantic ship in the sky that's giving off three lights. Almost looks like a giant pyramid in the sky. The same thing again. It opens up and all those ships come out again. The same thing from 9, 10 o'clock at night all the way till 9 in the morning until you can't see them. The sun comes out, you see them, their shields giving off more light continually all night, all night. And, I just want to, get on the horn and tell everyone to look up in the sky. Why isn't anyone looking up right now? What's going on up here? Why shouldn't we talk about this? We should tell everyone something's going on here. Something big is right above Navajo Nation every night, doing whatever it wants to do. And, no one's doing anything about it.
Is there a specific location somebody can go to find this? I mean, Four Corners is, that's best I got right now.
Yeah, that's probably all I'm going to give you. Because everyone has guns and they all shoot first and ask questions last. So anything that makes a move, you'll hear 243, 270, 30 rounds going off for AR-15. You'll hear the bullet flying by too. That's how serious everyone is there. Everyone's armed. So the best thing you can do is probably be off Navajo land and just keep your eye in the sky. Yeah. Or get to a hotel at a well-established area and just be at the parking lot. Would be the safe thing, I would say, because other than that, if you have your own guide, then you're good. A small little team and with a guide just to not draw attention, because we have the men in black on the reservation as well. These guys carry little plastic guns and they shoot at these ships, and they actually like to stay in front of that family member's house where I grew up at, where I was raised at. All my stories come from. These guys show up in the black SUV. You can tell the government plates or whatever. These guys are in black suits. They fly drones around. They have a plastic gun on their side, electromagnetic gun. And they don't answer no questions. When you go towards them, they hurry up and get in the SUV. They take off. Or they'll just show up, two of them, park right in front of the yard and watch us. The balls on them, huh?
What do they look like? I mean, is there anything
Caucasian.
unusual about their appearance, like other than
Caucasian.
normal?
It's Caucasian men. No, none of that. They don't look artificial or anything. They just look like normal.
Not unusually thin. There might be a fat one, might be a skinny one.
Just normal, average fit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then you'll see them scanning off the road, like if a Bigfoot would cross by. No, the story is that you'll see them with flashlights looking at the tracks while the Navajo Nation police are telling everyone to go, 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 directing traffic. They work really close with us here.
Do you have any sense of where they're from or what branch of government they represent?
Oh, man, we all know them. Even the Navajo Nation police are kind of afraid of them. And, sometimes you see them pull up at a gas station at night. You'll see them with pistols. You'll see them with guns and bullets all over. Some of them actually drive around a Cadillac that's all blacked out, that has LED lights all the way around. We've seen that around the early 2000s. This is before the LED bar lights and all these things came out. This guy was like 10 years to 15 years ahead of us. Equipment that he had on his vehicle. Yeah.
And Have there been any abductions that happen?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So this happened a few years ago. My son was 2 years old at the time. I was with my wife. We were coming back from this mountain, going back home late at night, around 12 o'clock. And I was sitting in back of the vehicle with my son. I was just entertaining him. He was behind his mother. His mother was driving, and it just had two stories same time. So the difference between these two is this one was it flew right over our van. We seen a light. I thought it was a helicopter or someone getting life flighted out, was what I was thinking. And when it came over to my view, it looked like a giant orange ball that was giving off like pulsating light from the bottom, going up like giving off magnificent light. It was probably bigger than our vehicle, and it went to this trailer. We got up on the hill. There's just a single wide trailer. It went right on top of this trailer, and it beamed the light into that trailer, and we seen a light go return to that craft, and this craft changed. It looked like it was silver, and it was giving off different patterns of light, and then it shot over like 300, 400, 300 to 400 yards over to this other single wide trailer. It went that way, and it shot light into that trailer, and a light went into that craft, and that craft went up higher, and it went back into like a giant, like a sun, like a little mini sun. It was so bright. And at that time I was reaching for my phone, and this thing shrunk, and it was giving off different light, and I got my phone out, and I started recording. And this thing went over a mesa, and it went to the Grand Canyon. All these UFOs. I see more UFOs more than anything on the Navajo Nation. Almost every night, you can count on them. So these guys have flight patterns that they stick to that I've noticed in different parts of the reservation. They always fly to the Grand Canyon. And when they're not flying around, they're usually hanging out at old ancient ruins. And then
Do you have any sense why they're hanging out on ancient ruins?
it could be at one point in time where they were revered there, because we have a lot of pictographs of these grays everywhere. He has the big head, and he has 3 fingers. He's like this, and he has 3 toes. Like I do hiking a lot on all across the Southwest, and you will see these pictographs everywhere that they worship them at one point in time. Yeah.
Do people ever see? I mean, we obviously talked about the one story with the gray, but do they see grays often in that area?
Yeah, they would see grays a lot, even inside the houses.
Do you say more?
I have a family member that, works for the government, works for the tribe and the state, and, like for the government, right? And she has a lot of people that experience abductions and experience a lot of things that are very horrible and unimaginable, that one of the last things you would think of an ET do to you.
That's the R word rhymes with grape.
Yeah, yeah. So we have that, and while they're doing that to the witnesses, they're telling them that we are your deities, we are your gods, you belong to us.
And why do you think they prey on those people?
It has to go back to the deals. I think it goes back to like certain families have certain patterns that go on with them. Like for us, we came from witchcraft, came from black magic. So I think the deals that our ancestors made, it still trickles down. And they'll visit us, they'll, try to make contact sometimes. They'll be hovering right over, our house, just like 100 feet off the ground, just reflecting the sun, reflecting the whole environment. That's how, shiny these things are. And, they have their own purposes.
This sounds very much like a Jack Parsons, Aleister Crowley sort of thing. Are you familiar with Lamb?
Yeah, that deity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or entity, whatever it is, but it kind of looks like a gray a little bit. It's got the big head.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like there's like an occult connection, and these things might be more dimensional than they are from outer space, right? Like these
Yeah.
things might be just coming out. You're talking about portals and things like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a lot of portal activity in Navajo Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Well, before you answer that, do you think these things are from space, or do you think because of this occult relationship, people opened up portals and these are the things that are coming through?
Interdimensional, I would say. Portals, yeah. Every skinwalker can disappear in front of your eyes. They would open the portal, go through a wall. It's just how much they would believe in that magic. There's no bound really. Some areas I had another witness that where he comes from, there's this wash that starts to get active around 2 in the afternoon. He never stays till when it gets dark because different things come out. It opens and closes. And what he described to me, this portal is, it looks like it has a rainbow on the outside, and on the inside is red. This is like red, black, like almost like red water or whatever. It has like a weird pattern going on with the rainbow on the outside. And the first beings that would normally come out are the two gnome little people looking beings with the hat and everything, with the beard. He said that they would come out and they would be speaking with each other in their own language. They'd be talking, looking down, they'd be conversing, walking along the wash. And then that thing would open up again. The portal would open up and they would walk through and disappear. Portal would close up. And then that same wash would open again, the portal, different spot, and he would see a gigantic bat crawling out, real fat bat, he said, crawling, barely making it out of that portal. He said it would fly around, do circles flying around, and it would go charge right back in down to the creek, the wash. That portal would open up, and he would fly right back in. And it would close, and it would open again, and this time a pterodactyl. We call them the Thunderbird. And I found his tracks on the Navajo Nation. Back in the day, that Thunderbird used to eat old Navajo people. Used to eat them. So, we still find his tracks here and there on the higher elevations of Navajo land. So I have friends that seen the tracks as well. So, he's out and about still. And he said that there's just one creature that comes out that he's really afraid of. He said that this creature looks like a black dog and it's moving so fast, and he's trying to shoot it with his AR and his GoPro. So whenever this portal would open up, his GoPro would die. And this whole time he's thinking he captured it all. And his phone is recording too, and nothing. Strange. And my portal, I was driving back from this mountain. It's probably 3 a.m. We're going up this huge hill. And there's stars out, no moon. Winter. And what I can tell you looked like a window. A giant window in the sky opened up. And we seen sun rays coming through. So much light. We're going up this hill, and it's just right above us. And we're driving. I was driving. I was there with my brother-in-law. And, we're driving up this hill looking at it. I wasn't saying anything. And it looked like that window was closing, like someone closed the window, like sliding. Remember how it closes like this downwards?
Mm-hmm.
Really slow. And then, boom, no light was coming through, like it was normal again. Like, it felt like I was in a Truman show, like, oh, wait, that light's not working. There we go. Like someone's going to
Might
get
be.
fired up there. Someone's going to get fired up there. I just seen. So, it made me question this reality, this whole entire existence we call life. It just had me running. I asked my brother-in-law, "Did you just see that?" He's like, "I sure just seen that. Can you tell me what it is?" Nope. Okay, cool.
What do you think's going on at Chaco Canyon with these portals?
Oh man. Well, the Anasazis open portals that they never closed, obviously. So a lot of these
Is
portals
is
are,
that why is that why you think there's so much portal activity in Navajo
mhm.
Nation?
Yeah, especially all the certain Anasazi ruins. You would see the portal activity there. Like a lot of the ruins, the Anasazi ruins aren't, like the Chaco Canyon, those builders, they built their dwelling places a little different. How you can tell the cliff dwellers from the Anasazis is the Sazis, their doorway is like a T. It's like a little T way entrances. You'll see them here and there. That's their society. It like models the southwest rainstorm. Remember how the storm is and how the rain's coming down? That's what the entrances is saying. It's rain. So then the cliff dwellers is small. So a lot of the cliff dwellers became Navajo. So that's the difference between them two. And like what they're doing in those little kivas back in the day were opening portal ways. And when these portal ways opened up, they had these creatures were pale, huge, what they would call today the rake, came through and started eating the people. So, we had ETs coming down, we had them opening portals of beings coming through and devouring them, and then never even leaving and being here in this realm, this earth with us. So, it just all these old Navajo stories or, we can keep going for days on this route. you know.
Is the rake kind of from indigenous tradition, or is that like a recent thing that like a creepy pasta sort of
Oh,
invention?
it's always been here. It's always been here. We have different names for them, like even the people think that Wendigo is a deer head or whatever, but actually Wendigo is how you say Sasquatch in Ojibwe.
Hmm.
So, like over time, that misinformation, people's own theory they run from, or misinformation, misidentification, all that stuff plays a part.
So isn't it supposedly someone who had partaken of human flesh and they just kind of went wrong after? In other words, they started as humans, or is that a different? Is that just a kind of a false?
No, no, you would have to go to the main source, the first original inhabitants on asking the Wendigo, and they'll help clear the air on that. It just takes one person to say a lie or say something wrong, and
Okay.
then it goes from there. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Skinwalker. People think that it's a cryptid, I'm like, no, it's not a cryptid.
Mm.
It's a man. That whatever you've seen might have been something else. Might have been a different cryptid. Go ask that area that you seen that creature. Go to that tribe that dwells near there. They'll have information for that for you. I'm gonna try telling them that, but you can't make people, do what they don't want to do or believe what they don't want to believe, or you can't tell them this is the sky is green, while they will say the sky is gray or blue. You know what I mean? But it's just from us, from Native Americans, can help clear some of the air and share some of the stories and have oral stories tied with that. Like for our culture, we know that there's Bigfoot and there's 20 different variations of Bigfoot. So just think of different other monsters, different how they all look different because the tracks that I found, there's 5 toe tracks, 4 toe tracks, and 3 toe track Bigfoots. And they all look different from each other.
What's the Sasquatch version of the Wendigo?
Oh, it's for us Navajo, we call him Yeitzo. You know, that's one name, or Hastin Tsugi, or like means like the hairy man, or Hastin, the holy man. Those are the 3 words, 3 names that we gave him.
And what
Yeah.
do they look like?
Well, the one that I seen was red hair, burgundy, no neck, 5 feet wide shoulders, over 9 foot tall. Oh man, the lungs on this guy. Woo, my encounter. So, like my witnesses, they all seen a black one, they seen a white one, they seen a buckskin one. They all have different variations, and these guys, they don't disappear. They jump, they run fast. These guys can hop away from you like a grasshopper, 30 feet each jump, 30 feet. And these guys are smart. They'll jump on a rock, they'll jump on a bush, so you'll lose them. They're like, oh, this guy jumped in the portal. Like, no, our Sasquatches don't use portals here. The other beings use portals, little people, So, the Sasquatch here, he makes nests, for his babies. The older they get, they turn white. And the bigger ones are the black ones. Those guys are really scary. Those guys have red eyes. It's pretty scary. But they'll pet your dog. I have some witnesses where they'll bring a filet mignon back for their dog. They'll feed their dog too. Whatever the kill they did over on that mountain, they slaughtered a cow. And they'll come back and play with the dog, pet the dog. Same thing goes for the centaur. They'll bring back food for the dog. Even the baby centaurs will play with the dogs too, while the parents are watching. And the whole family would be in a community. We got a lot of weird things like that. From our area, Bigfoot, he likes to follow us around a lot. He's a really creepy guy. Like, he's seen all the scary movies. And because when I first started, I had families that lived off the reservation, excuse me. They came to visit. I was 18 years old at the time. And my uncle was like, let's go hiking. I want to see something scary tonight. I want to see a skinwalker. I want to see the devil. And I was like, you're crazy, man. You're going to regret that because you might just get it. Like, let's go then. So I took him on this route where there is no human at all. Absolutely nobody, because I run that area. I would know the area well. And so within 30 minutes of going on that route outside of that community, this is near the San Juan River. So we're hiking and laughing, chit-chatting, joking, and we heard what sounded like a lady. It sounded like a lady crying, like a lady that was really intoxicated, whining, but unnaturally loud. The voice carried, and, my uncle had the only light. He cast his light over there to that hill, and I seen eyes, amber, and it was forward facing, so it told me that it's a predator. So I thought it was up on the hill, like quarter of a mile away from us. I was like, it's probably a bobcat. But I looked at everyone. There's 7 of us. Everybody was frozen. Everybody's mouth was open. Their eye was fixated on this thing. It was going back and forth. It was pacing. And I was like, fine, all right, I'll go over there. I'll see what it is, and it was screaming, and it sounded like a person. I stopped. I was like, whoa, this is a skinwalker. Misidentification. So I kept going, and this thing was whining, and making all kinds of unnaturally pitched vocal pitches where it's impossible for us to do. And it was loud, and my clothes were vibrating, and my eardrum was shaking. And like when I was swallowing my saliva, I felt the vibration of each time he was letting out vocalization. So if you ever heard Ron Moorhead's Sierra sounds, but that whole thing, I was there, and this thing was blasted right on me. I was feeling it. I was walking, we're 120 yards away from this hill, and I thought he was on the hill further. And I was coming. He was screaming, and I got like 25 yards from this sucker. This guy, I realized that he wasn't on the mesa over yonder. He was right on the other hill, 20 yards from me. And the reason why I thought he was further is because the ground there was red dirt. There's no trees, hardly any vegetation. So the land is red, and this guy had red hair. He had red hair, and he started swaying like this. When his body was swaying like this, he was screaming. So there's like the Ron Moorhead Sierra sound. And when he was screaming, he was shaking his body really fast like this. He was swaying. That stopped me in my place, and I realized how big his eyes were. So his eyes was probably as big as my fist right here. Like this, his eyes, and his head was domed. He had no neck. And his shoulders like 5 feet, man. This was like me laying sideways like that on a person. So this guy was huge. I didn't see his lower portion, and he stopped screaming, and he was making weird noises still. And I stopped my track, and this guy was taking steps behind the other hill. So the light my uncle is casting like this, where I only saw his eye. He's watching me. I was just right there. He's at the top of the hill, and he was gone. And I turned around. Longest walk of my life. I was trying to decide what lie should I go with. So I got to them, and everyone was just looking at me, like, what was it? I was like, it's a bobcat. Let's keep going, guys. So we kept going down that wash, and then the whole time I was hearing tracks. I was hearing footsteps, and we're in this wash, and some pebbles were coming down from the top. This guy was jumping over us. I can tell. I knew. I let everyone get ahead of me, and I was the last one. I was like, if this is a monster, this monster can take me right now, if he's real. Like I was still doubting what I was seeing, what I heard, what I witnessed, but I knew I was dealing with a monster because that whole time it unlocked the memory. Like, this is the monster. This is because my whole life they told us never go out at night. Don't go out when the full moon is out. Bigfoot's out there. We call them the children of the night. They're the children of the night. We're the children of the day, because it all goes all the way back to our oral culture, where Bigfoot and us, the creator, made us side by side at the same time. And at one point in time, they almost ate all of us. And we had two warriors that went on the offensive, and they went and killed almost all the Bigfoot all across this continent. They chased them into the deep, deep cave in the Grand Canyon, and they made a deal with them there. They said that the night's for you. You stay away from us, we'll stay away from you. We'll let you live. They said they seen all types of monsters in there. Bigfoot wasn't the only monster. And they made a deal. They let them come out, and now there's many of them. So it made me go all the way back to our culture stories of what I was looking at. So, time went to 3 o'clock. We started seeing the light pollution. We didn't make it to the San Juan River because, just face it, we were all scared. We were scared. We weren't saying we were scared. We were quiet. And we found the dirt road that leads us back to the community. And as we're walking back, we're getting closer. The youngest family member, the youngest, the shortest, the skinniest, he got ahead of us. I don't know why, but he did. He got 15, 20 yards ahead of me. He went to this curve. We lost him. I look down to look at my footing. I look up, the flashlight's on, still on the whole time. And he's running towards me. He's like 5 feet from me. His eyes big, his mouth's open. He's running sloppy. He tackles me. And he's screaming in my ear, yeah, not Loshi, yeah, not Loshi, Navajo, Skinwalker, Skinwalker. He's holding me, squeezing me. He's screaming. He was frantic. I managed to calm him down. I was trying to tell him, what did you see? Tell me, what did you see? Tell me, what did you see? I need to know what you see. What did he finally calmed down. He said that when he went around the corner, he said that he seen a big orangutan on all four running after him, about to grab him. He said, big old hands, about to get him. He turned around, ran back towards us, and I got him off me, and I started running down on that dirt road where he came from. And his brother started running with me. I guess he had an older brother there with him. He's a year behind me. So he was 17, I was 18. So we were both running down that road. We hit that corner like about 20 yards. We ran into the worst smell you can ever smell in your life. Those two things are stinky as Bigfoot, number one, and skinwalkers. The difference is, the Bigfoot is more like a body odor and blood, maybe old meat sometimes, but you'll smell BO. But skinwalker, you smell dead body, straight up dead body, because these guys do things with dead bodies that you don't even want to know. They make poison, they make like their medicine out of dead person's fingertips and a dead person's toe tips. they cut it off and they grind it into small powder, and they would blow it on you or throw it on you to make you freeze. And they mix that powder with different poisons to kill you. So one of the deals
All
that
right.
we... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I hate to cut it short now, but I got a time constraint. So, any like quick final words for the audience, like real quick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can find me at Don't Whistle at Night podcast on the United Public Radio Network. And we're live every Sunday, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 12 o'clock... Oh, sorry, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Sunday.
All right, definitely check it out. And Don, thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure.
Oh, yeah, likewise.
If you enjoyed today's video, please hit like and subscribe, and also hit the notification button so you can be notified whenever I post new content. Thank you. Now, if you're enjoying the channel and you want to support it, there are several things you can do. In fact, there are 5 things you can do. The first thing you can do is just buy my books. I got plenty of books out in the market right now, and I would prefer that folks buy a book rather than giving me direct support, because they get something out of it. They get a real tangible product. The second way you can support me is by becoming a member on YouTube or becoming a patron on Patreon. And just go to either site and it'll explain everything. The third way you can support the channel is by checking out my merch site, which is here. There's plenty of stuff that you can get to support the channel. And I'd appreciate that you have it and can wear it. Not only do you help support the channel, but you also help promote the channel, and I appreciate that. The fourth way that you can support the channel, and this is really easy, is anytime you want to buy something on Amazon, literally just go to the description below and click on any link, literally any link. The channel gets a cut of that, and it costs you no extra money. You just go through the link, as I'm part of the Amazon Affiliates Club. The fifth and final way you can support the channel is through donations. Now, I don't prefer these because it's more of an expression of gratitude, but you don't really get anything out of it as a subscriber to the channel. However, if you decide to do these options, there's 2 options. There's Buy Me a Coffee, which is a separate site, and there's also, you can go through YouTube with either a super chat, super sticker, or a super thanks. Again, I prefer Buy Me a Coffee because that organization takes less money than Amazon does. But either way, I appreciate any support you are willing to give the channel. So thank you very much, and keep watching. I really appreciate it.